I had been planning the surprise for almost 6 months, secretly scanning dealership inventories, emailing collectors, and hunting down the perfect model. My wife, Emily, had always loved Porsche 911s. Not the overtuned track variants or the stealth black aerodynamic monsters you see in car meets. No, she loved the classic, elegant shape of a 911 Carrera with just enough refinement to feel timeless. And she loved the color pink. Not neon pink. Not cartoon pink. A soft, pastel rose pink with a pearl finish that shimmered gold under sunlight. The exact shade she had once pointed at in a magazine and whispered, "If I ever hit the lottery, this would be the one." She never asked for expensive things. She worked hard, saved hard, and put everyone, including me, ahead of herself. So, when my business hit its best year ever, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. A perfect Porsche for a perfect woman. I picked it up from the specialty dealer on a bright Saturday morning. Even the employees walked around it like it was jewelry on wheels. The paint gleamed like it had been kissed by sunrise. The interior, white leather with pink stitching, smelled like a brand new dream. I drove it home carefully, practically crawling at every speed bump as if the car could feel pain. Emily was inside making pancakes when I walked in. "You're early," she said, raising an eyebrow. "You only wake up before 8 if the world is ending." "Maybe it is," I said with a grin. "Come outside." She looked suspicious. "Is the dog hurt?" "No." "Did you break something expensive again?" "Also no." "Then what?" "Just trust me." We stepped outside, and the sunlight landed on the Porsche like it had been waiting for its cue. Emily froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Then she placed both hands on her mouth. Tears filled her eyes instantly. "No," she whispered. "You didn't. You couldn't have." I held out the key. "Happy early anniversary." She stared at the key, then at me, then at the car again. Then she hugged me so tightly I almost dropped the fob. "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," she said into my chest. "What about me?" "You're second. Maybe third depending on the lighting." We both laughed. She ran her fingers along the smooth curve of the hood, admiring every line, every reflection. Her face glowed brighter than the paint. She had waited her whole life for something that felt like hers. And that was the moment Karen appeared. Our neighbor, self-appointed HOA watchdog, 38 years old but stuck in a permanent emotional state of spoiled 13. She walked her dog every morning like a queen inspecting her kingdom. And unfortunately, we lived on her route. We heard her sharp gasp before we even saw her. "What is that?" she demanded, marching toward us like a mall cop with unlimited authority. Emily stiffened. I exhaled slowly. "Here we go." "It's my wife's new car," I said calmly. Karen squinted at it like it had personally offended her. "That is not an acceptable color for this neighborhood." "Pretty sure it's not up to you," I replied. She stepped even closer, circling the Porsche like she was evaluating a stolen diamond. "Is this a Porsche 911? "Yes," Emily said proudly, wiping a tear from her cheek. "Pastel pink pearl?" Karen hissed. "Do you have any idea how distracting that is? My husband is going to see that every day when he drives by." I blinked. And he loves Porsches." Emily and I exchanged a look. Karen planted a hand on her hip. "Your paint job is practically bait. My husband is going to want one, and he will blame me if he cannot afford it." I genuinely did not know whether to laugh or cry. "I'm sorry." "What?" "You need to sell it," Karen snapped. "Or repaint it. Or, actually, just sell it. My son turns 16 next month, and this car would be perfect for him." Emily choked on her own disbelief. "Your son? He backed into a mailbox last week. He was provoked, Karen said confidently. By a stationary object? I asked. Karen ignored me completely. She pointed at the Porsche like she was selecting a cupcake. "I'll take it." "What did you pay?" 20,000? Maybe 30? "I'll give you 15 since it's used now." Emily stared at her like she was hallucinating. "It's not for sale," I said firmly. Karen crossed her arms. "Everything is for sale. Especially when you live in an HOA. There are rules. A car like this will lower the value of the neighborhood if you keep it." I almost laughed. Emily did laugh. But Karen was dead serious. "You two need to stop being selfish," she snapped. "Just sell it to me. My son deserves something nice for once." And that was the moment Emily stepped forward, eyes blazing. "It is mine," she said. "My husband bought it for me. You are not taking it." Karen's jaw dropped like someone had slapped her. And she said the words that would ignite everything. "You'll regret saying no to me." She stormed off, dog dragging behind her. Emily sighed. "We're in for it, aren't we?" "Oh yeah," I said quietly. "This is just the beginning." The next morning, the neighborhood group chat was already buzzing long before I woke up. Normally, it was dead silent unless someone wanted to complain about sprinkler schedules or trash bins being too visible. But today? The chat was practically on fire. I scrolled half asleep, coffee in hand, and immediately saw why. Karen had posted a 4-paragraph announcement. "Attention neighbors. There is a serious security concern in our community. A flashy, distracting bright pink sports car has appeared in our neighborhood, and I have reasons to believe it is not legally permitted. I will be conducting a visual inspection of the vehicle later today. HOA rules give me authority. Please cooperate." Authority. Visual inspection. She typed like she was preparing paperwork for a federal raid. I almost spit my coffee. My wife wandered into the kitchen. "Morning. Why do you look like you just read a horror novel?" I handed her my phone. She read it, blinked twice, and burst out laughing. "Oh my God. She's insane." "Yeah," I said. "And apparently she's doing a visual inspection today." My wife raised an eyebrow. "Should we charge admission?" But I knew Karen. This was no harmless rant. When she became fixated on something, she went all in. And judging from the panicked responses in the chat, neighbors asking things like, "Is it safe?" and "Should we call security?" she had already stirred the pot. I looked outside. The Porsche sat in the driveway, sparkling under the morning sun. Sleek, bright pink, the color my wife had dreamed of since she was a kid. It wasn't hurting anyone. But to Karen, any joy possessed by someone else was an act of war. By noon, her obsession had evolved. I was in my garage fixing a toolbox drawer when I heard footsteps outside. Then a loud gasp. There she was, Karen, standing at the edge of my driveway, clutching her phone like a detective discovering a crime scene. Her bob haircut swayed like it was personally offended by the Porsche's paint job. She started taking pictures. From every angle. Even crouching like she was doing wildlife photography. I stepped out of the garage. "Morning, Karen. Can I help you with something?" She didn't answer. Instead, she snapped a final picture and shoved her phone in my face. "Do you see this?" she demanded. It's my wife's car." "It's illegal," she snapped. "No, it isn't." "It is," she insisted, voice trembling with the thrill of imaginary authority. Article 14C of the HOA Vehicle Compliance Code states that all automobiles must be in neutral, non-distracting colors. I raised an eyebrow. "Karen, there is no Article 14C. I helped rewrite the vehicle code 2 years ago when we removed the rule about visible bumper stickers. She blinked, visibly thrown off but unwilling to back down. Well. It should be illegal. So make a suggestion at the next meeting. She puffed up. Or I can make a complaint. You already did, I said, holding up my phone with her posts. 3 of them. Her cheeks flushed red, turning the same shade as a warning sign. This neighborhood is losing class, she spat. And that car, she pointed dramatically at the Porsche, is a bad influence. My son already asked why we don't have one. And what did you tell him? That you stole it. She barked. I blinked. You told your son that I stole my own car? She crossed her arms like she had just won the argument. Well, how else would you afford something so bright? Before I could answer, she stepped forward, onto my driveway. You are not allowed. I'm performing a compliance inspection, she declared. Then, unbelievably, she reached out and touched the car. That was it. My wife came storming out the front door. Hey! Don't touch my car. Karen jerked back, scandalized. Your car? You let him buy it for you? That's irresponsible. That car belongs with someone who appreciates it. My wife laughed. And I don't? No, Karen hissed. You don't deserve it. I have far more refined taste. My wife smirked. Refined taste? You think wearing a cardigan in 110-degree weather is refined? Karen gasped and clutched her pearls, or whatever discount necklace she was wearing. This is harassment. She shrieked. I will be reporting both of you. Go ahead, I said. But get off my driveway first. She huffed, stomped backward, and tripped on the curb. She caught herself and shot me a death glare like I had personally pushed her. This is not over, she growled. Then she marched off, furious, shaking, and already typing aggressively on her phone. And just like that, Karen's obsession went from annoying to dangerous. Because an hour later, the HOA president called me. I just got a complaint, he sighed. Apparently you're intimidating Karen with a weaponized luxury vehicle. I rubbed my face. This was going to get worse. Much, much worse. The next morning, the neighborhood woke to something no one expected, the sound of high-pitched squealing tires and a crowd gathering in front of my driveway. At first, I thought maybe there had been an accident or a delivery truck got stuck, but the moment I stepped outside, I spotted the source of all the commotion. Karen. Standing with 2 HOA board members behind her like backup dancers, arms crossed, chin tilted so high she nearly stared at the sky. And right in front of my driveway, blocking it completely, was the pink Porsche, no longer parked where I had left it. My stomach turned. The night before, I had parked the car carefully inside our garage. My wife had gone to sleep smiling, still overwhelmed with happiness. Now the garage door was wide open, and her dream car stood outside in the daylight like it had been kidnapped and displayed. What did you do? I demanded, walking toward Karen. Karen smiled, the smug kind of smile only someone who has never been told no in their entire life could pull off. I helped you, she announced loudly, as if she should receive applause. I put the car where it belongs. It needs to be assessed by the HOA. All new exotic-looking vehicles must be evaluated for aesthetic compatibility. My wife stepped outside with a confused look, still in her robe. She gasped when she saw the garage wide open. My car. What happened? Did someone break in? Karen laughed. Break in? Oh please. I have the spare keys. My wife stared at her, absolutely stunned. Spare keys? We never gave you a key. Karen shrugged. Well, your little locksmith friend did. He said he thought I lived here. I told him I was the homeowner. He swapped the fob for me. Very simple. I clenched my fists. She didn't just trespass, she impersonated the homeowner. That was a crime all on its own. The HOA board members shifted uncomfortably, but none of them stepped in. Not one. Karen gestured toward the Porsche. Anyway, I already filed a vehicle appropriation request. All you need to do is sign ownership over to me. Simple. Efficient. Fair. My wife looked like she had just been struck in the face. I took a step toward Karen, keeping my voice calm only because a group of neighbors had come outside to watch. You took my property from inside my garage. That is illegal. Karen rolled her eyes. Oh, stop being dramatic. You bought a pink Porsche. Obviously it was meant for someone else. My wife froze. Someone else? She repeated, voice shaking. Karen nodded proudly. Me. The arrogance of it was unbelievable. I never imagined someone could say something so outrageous with such confidence. My wife finally found her voice. You broke into my garage. You touched my car. You moved my things. Karen grinned. Please. I rescued it. You do not know how to properly showcase a luxury vehicle. It deserves to be seen. At that moment, a neighbor, old Mr. Henderson, cleared his throat loudly and shouted, "Lady, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my 82 years of life." Laughter rippled through the small crowd. Karen's face tightened. She pointed at me. I am filing a theft report. You stole my car. Pink is my signature color. Everyone knows that. My wife let out a disbelieving laugh. Pink is your signature color? She turned to me. Did we fall into a cartoon? Is this real? Karen stomped her foot like an angry toddler. You will give me that car, or I will have the HOA revoke your approval to keep it. I raised an eyebrow. Approval? Who approved it? Karen paused. The HOA board members behind her started sweating. Finally she replied, well, I would have approved it. If you had given it to me. The crowd gasped. Someone muttered, she's lost her mind. My wife stepped forward, her voice steady but trembling with anger. You invaded my home, took my keys, moved my car, and now you're demanding we give it to you? Are you insane? Karen dramatically pulled her phone from her purse. I am calling the police. You are threatening me. I held up a hand. Please. Go ahead. She blinked, thrown off. Excuse me? I said go ahead. Call them. Let's see what they say when they learn you illegally entered my garage and tampered with property. Karen froze. The HOA board members stepped back like they suddenly wanted nothing to do with the situation. My wife folded her arms. The car is mine. My husband bought it for me. And the police will hear every detail. Karen's smug expression slowly melted into something like panic, but she hid it with fake confidence. I need to check the bylaws first. You do that, I said. Karen stomped away, her board members following like embarrassed shadows. My wife stood beside me, finally letting out a shaky breath. She really tried to steal it, she whispered. I wrapped an arm around her. She is not getting anywhere near it again. But I knew, deep down, this was not over. Karen was planning something bigger. She always did. The next morning began with a quiet stillness, one of those rare, peaceful moments when the world feels like it is holding its breath. I was sipping my coffee on the porch, watching sunlight slide across the driveway and illuminate the soft rose-pink paint of the Porsche I bought for my wife. After the chaos Karen had caused, her screaming, her demands, her tantrums, the silence was almost suspicious. My wife stepped outside, hair still damp from her shower, wearing the smile she always wore whenever she saw the car. "You think she's done?" she asked. "With Karen?" I shook my head. "She's never done." Right on cue, a loud engine roared down the street, followed by the familiar screech of tires grinding against asphalt. Karen's lift kit Jeep came barreling around the corner and jerked to a stop right in front of our house. She practically jumped out before the engine even shut off. "You!" She pointed at me like she was accusing me of war crimes. "You think you can just buy whatever you want? You think you can embarrass me in front of my son? You think you can?" "Karen," I interrupted, "it's 8 in the morning. I don't care what time it is." She shrieked. "That car," she jabbed a finger at the Porsche, "belongs to me. I deserve it. I have told everyone in the neighborhood that you stole it from me, and the HOA board agrees." My wife raised an eyebrow. "The HOA board? The same people who fined you for parking on your lawn last week?" Karen ignored her completely. "And today," she continued, "you're going to hand over the keys. Because I have proof that the car was meant for me. And if you don't believe me, watch." She pulled out a folded piece of paper. I expected nonsense, but not this level of nonsense. It was a crumpled sheet from a children's stationery set. Covered in sparkly stickers. Written in blue crayon. The contract said, "The pink car belongs to Karen because she's better. Signed, The Universe." I stared at it. My wife stared at it. Even Karen's Jeep, somehow, seemed embarrassed to be associated with her. "You brought us a handwritten note from the universe?" I said slowly. She stomped her foot. "It is legally binding." Before I could respond, a black SUV appeared at the top of the street. Sleek. Quiet. Government issued. My stomach dropped, not out of fear but because I instantly recognized the vehicle. My older sister stepped out. And she was wearing her FBI windbreaker. "Morning," she called casually, holding a thick file under her arm. "Got your message." Karen froze, mid-tantrum. What message?" "Oh," I said, taking a sip of my coffee, "the message I sent her last night. About the vandalism. The attempted theft. The harassment. And the false report you tried to file at the station." Karen went pale. "False report? I didn't, I never, he's lying." My sister opened the file. Karen Walker, age 43. History of verbal harassment reports, 2 HOA disputes, and a previous citation for disorderly conduct at, she paused, Chuck E. Cheese? My wife burst into laughter. "I was just expressing myself." Karen squeaked. "You assaulted the mascot, Karen," my sister replied. "That's not expressing yourself." Karen started backing away. "This is all a misunderstanding, I just wanted the car. I deserve nice things. It's not fair that they get everything." My sister didn't flinch. "You crossed a line. Actually, several. And the moment you tried to file paperwork claiming a vehicle that isn't yours? That became a federal issue." Karen's knees buckled. I didn't know. I didn't mean to. You also trespassed," my sister added. "And you spray-painted their fence. That was art." Karen shouted weakly. "It was a stick figure with a frown face," my wife reminded her. Karen whimpered. "Please. I didn't think it was a big deal." My sister approached calmly. "Ma'am, you are coming with me for questioning. You have the right to remain silent." Karen collapsed onto the curb. "The HOA will save me. They're on my side." That's when the HOA president stepped outside, an exhausted middle-aged man with dark circles under his eyes. "No, Karen," he said. We are absolutely not on your side. In fact. He held up a stack of papers. The board voted this morning to remove you from the HOA entirely. Karen's jaw dropped. You can't do that. We just did. Karen reached out weakly toward the Porsche one last time before my sister gently guided her into the SUV. As the vehicle drove away, Karen's voice faded down the street. It was supposed to be me. Silence returned. My wife leaned against me, trying not to laugh. Well. That was dramatic. Karen always delivers, I said. Behind us, the pink Porsche sparkled in the sun, beautiful, untouched, and still very much ours. And for the first time since Karen had ever entered our lives, the neighborhood finally felt peaceful.